Hi guys, today we're going to answer the questions, how can we find vertical asymptotes and how can we graph functions? So let's look at question 1 and start by filling in this table. So y, or f of x, is equal to 1 over x. Now if we put in negative 1/10 for x, we'll use keep, change, flip to find our y value because the fraction bar means divide. So we have 1 divided by negative 1/10, which is the same as 1 multiplied by negative 10, or negative 10. So now following this pattern, we can pretty quickly fill in the entire table. Now let's generalize about what we see. As x gets closer to 0 from the left, which means we put in numbers a little smaller than 0, and we keep doing that with numbers closer and closer to 0. So anyways, x gets closer to 0 from the left, the y values, or f of x, or 1 over x, however you want to write it, the limit as x approaches 0 from the left of 1 over x is negative infinity. The y values just keep decreasing without any stopping point. We can quickly fill in the table on the right using the same keep, change, flip pattern. Okay, now let's make a limit statement here. So here, the x values are getting closer and closer to 0 from the right. We're putting in numbers just a little bit bigger than 0. So the limit as x approaches 0 from the right of 1 over x is equal to positive infinity. All right, so now let's think about what this would mean for the graph, and let's try to do a little rough sketch. So when x is exactly 0, we know that our function y equals 1 over x is undefined. There's no y value right there. But we know that as x approaches 0 from the right, the y values just keep getting bigger. They just shoot up. And we know that as x approaches 0 from the left, the y values get smaller and smaller. They just go straight down. We also know where we have a horizontal asymptote, right? To find a horizontal asymptote, we need to look at what number the y's are staying close to in the long run. So we take the limit as x approaches infinity and the limit as x approaches negative infinity. So now let's think about these. As x gets bigger and bigger, 1 divided by x gets closer and closer to the number 0. So both limits here are equal to 0. So we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. So in the long run, as the x values get bigger, as we go along the x-axis, the y values get closer to 0. And that occurs in both directions. This is just a rough sketch of this graph. So I will now leave you to try the rest of the graph. Please do standard things like find the domain, any asymptotes. Also make sure you find any intercepts. And in terms of the asymptotes, please justify your answers in terms of limits. All right, good luck.